Alright guys, before we get into the video, I'm going to talk to you yet again about futtrading.co.uk. Thank you to everyone that continues to subscribe and support our content. It means the world to us. You guys know we work very hard on the website. You make a lot of coins, but without you guys, we don't have a website. So thank you very much for that. We're working on another big giveaway this month, and hopefully we'll have details of that in the coming days for you guys. But just so you know, £10 a month gets you access to Tier 1 perks, which is buying and selling prices for icons, specials, and silvers, as well as Thursday flips. They bang all the time, a lot of coins to be made. And with Tier 2, you get all the Tier 1, plus ChemStar filters, plus live filters, and we're adding UCL cards to that as well. PC prices have now been added, and we're continuing to add more PC features in the coming days and weeks. So make sure you check out futtrading.co.uk. You'll make millions as simplistically as anything. But for now, let's get into the video. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe down below. Make sure you turn your notifications on. Again, I'll repeat it, YouTube messed up notifications, so if you haven't got them turned on, turn them off, turn them back on again, whatever you've got to do. Just make sure they're turned on to make sure you get notified as to when a video comes up or when I go live. And again, you want to subscribe because Dan and I are going to be giving away a few subscriptions to Futtrading in the coming week as a way of saying thank you for the ridiculous support I've had here, both of us on our streams and the website itself. It has been mental since Christmas. It's been incredible, so thank you very much for that. But like I say, you do get 3 uploads a day on this channel. The morning upload is League SBC Method to Glory, me teaching you guys how to craft players and packs and grind out the game without spending money on FIFA points. The evening upload, this upload, is always a trading video. At the moment, we're doing trading to Prime Eusebio. We started off at 1 million coins. We're now at 2 million coins after 2 days of trading. We're going to be buying Prime Eusebio next week to improve my team. And then the mid-match content is a mixture of packs, picks, all that sort of stuff, my thoughts on the game, or whatever else it is on the game at that moment in time. But this video is all about how you make coins tonight with the release of Team 2 Future Stars. So I've been looking at a few trends, and there's some really simplistic stuff that I talk to you guys about all the time. And again, the more detailed parts of this video, I'll leave the links down below for the videos you need in terms of how to learn to trade with certain cards. They will all be there for you. But the most basic stuff we'll talk about first, and then we'll talk about the more advanced stuff and those you with higher coin budgets. So we'll start off at the lower end, and the most obvious play tonight is the fact we're going to get lightning rounds with Team 2. That is going to happen. And so with lightning rounds, it means we get mass supply of cards onto the market, and that always means prices initially come down. So first we need to talk about fodder. Let's go with fodder. I said this to you last week, 84 rated fodder this year has been the most sort of, I guess, reliable fodder to invest into. So if you get an 83 rated squad, the 84s can still be used in that. An 85 rated squad, you throw a couple of 84s into that. But a lot of the squads have tended to be 84 rated, 85 rated this year. 84 rated fodder does very, very well. That's not to say you shouldn't buy into 83 rated fodder. You can do that. But what you want to be doing right now is getting an idea of what the 84 rated fodder likes of Saul, Aspilicueta, Tagliafico, Onana, those sort of cards. You want to get an idea of what they're currently selling for, and basically buying them a lot lower than that at the beginning of the lightning rounds. I say the beginning of the lightning rounds. Really, you want to be doing it. The best time recently has been about 7, 8 o'clock. The second or third lightning round, that's when the fodder tends to be cheapest. It's been like that for as long as I can remember it for this year. But that will all depend on whether or not we get a decent SBC at 6 PM. If we get a very good SBC at 6 PM, which I doubt, but if we do get a very good SBC at 6 PM, fodder may rise quite quickly. So at 6 PM, we'll see a drop with the lightning rounds, and then relatively quickly, the fodder will come up because that SBC is in demand. Now, I genuinely believe that Team 2 is going to be better than Team 1. I think EA have held back a little bit with this promo, and so I think Team 2 could be a really good sort of long-term way to make coins across this whole week, because I think there's going to be more coming. We've got the academy players coming, which we'll talk about in a minute. We've got the new icons that should be coming onto the game, which actually I need to mention that to you as well. A lot of fodder has received a massive price range increase today. I've seen it. So a lot of the fodder's gone up in price, and that to me screams icon SBC. Usually when EA do something like that, it usually means we're getting some form of big SBC. So Neymar's obviously coming, but I definitely think we are getting some icon SBCs. Icon swaps, it doesn't look like they're in the code at the moment for the second lot of icon swaps. There is a chance, but we'll talk about icon swaps in a minute. But fodder's there. As well as that, the usual things about trading with silvers, UCL cards, they still exist. The videos are down below for that, but again, lightning rounds come out. You want to buy the silvers as cheap as possible. People are going to have held packs from yesterday, so you want to buy those silvers as cheap as possible, and the UCLs as cheap as possible. On the website, you have got every single filter on there for you guys. Use the prices, whatever you do, make sure you go out and make as many coins as possible today with those cards. They have been OP every single time we've had mass supply, so don't miss out on that, whatever you do. But I do want to talk about the two most important things I think here from a mid to high budget, and that is the academy players that we've got coming out and the objective / SBC. So we're going to head over to Footbin now, and I want to just quickly show you what we are doing with Footbin. So if you look at this, this is Lorenzo Insigne, this is Giorgio Chiellini, this is Maddison, this is Tavernier. Now, why are we looking at these cards? The reason we look at these cards is because two massive SBCs have come out recently, and they sum up my point on this very, very easily. So the first of them was Tonali, which is an objective card. Objective cards are a really good way to trade. The reason being that everyone can go out and do those. All you've got to do is use your time on the game, and that's how you go out and get one of those objective cards. Now, Tonali was a brilliant objective by EA. I criticised them a lot, but I won't criticise them for that. I thought it was sensational. It was absolutely brilliant. But let me show you Giorgio Chiellini's graph when Tonali came out. This is Giorgio Chiellini's graph, and Tonali came out somewhere around here, and he absolutely plummeted. And he slowly but surely rebounded to the point he's at today, which is, forget the 272 there because it's an undercut. Let's refresh and see where he's actually at. That's an undercut. So we'll say 280 plus. So he got down as low as 250 because I know my brother bought him when we were building his team. And he gained 30k back. So when an objective card comes out, cards that share the same position or similar position, similar nation, etc., tend to see a hit. People panic sell them off and they drop in price. Over the course of the next 2 days, they tend to bounce back. So you can buy into those sort of players. There's no problem with that at all. In the long term, you can wait for the price to come down, let it get to its lowest point, then buy in, and they usually will bounce back. Maybe not to the same point they were at before, but they'll definitely get up again enough for you to make profit in most of those cards. But let's have a look at Lorenzo Insigne's graph. Tonali came out, and this is what Lorenzo Insigne did. Absolutely spiked on every single one of his cards. He saw a massive rise in. So down here again, up he goes, away to 118 at his highest. He's now 102 again. He's 87, road to the final card again. Down here, absolutely spiked up to 188. And it's been a recurring theme this year. When there's a relatively in-demand objective that is good, and a lot of people can do it, the same position as that card tends to dip in price. Cards that link that card tend to rise in price. And that's something you should be looking out for tonight in case we do get an objective player. If it's a relatively good objective player, then those cards will tend to do well. And that's something to be hot on tonight because there's very easy profit to make within 24, 48 hours. And we're not talking minor profit. If you look at this Insigne, if you're looking at roughly where it is, 149 at a low there, he's got up as high as 186. If you bought into this card, you're looking at 30,000 coins profit per card. It's a huge amount of coins to be picking up. And so that's something to be mindful of. And we saw similar with Rooney. So Maddison's here. Again, Rooney came out in the second, I believe. And look at Maddison's graph. We were all predicting sort of 50s to Maddison because we were like, he's a good card, but there's not been that much demand. Rooney comes out, and he's now holding consistent 79, 80,000 coins on Xbox, 63 on PS. Let's have a look at his PS price, actually, because I want to just see if this graph is the same on PS. Again, not quite as pronounced in terms of the jump that it was with Xbox, but still a gradual rise to get him to where he is now. And James Tavernier, again, another one, sort of started rising here, which is fine, I think, in anticipation of Rooney, and then bang, he absolutely spiked. But then now, if you look at him, he's slightly down from where he was. So the buying and selling points are very vital there. What you need to watch is see the cards come down, the ones that are linked the same sort of position or whatever, so see them come down, and the ones that link to them, the ones to right. So for example, if it's a centre mid, your right wings, your left wings and stuff like that, left backs, right backs, even centre backs to a degree, get them at the low point. As you see them start to rise, sell them in the hype. So once you get up, get your money, get out. Don't stay there for too long, because if that rise is superficial, people just happen to be investing into it, as opposed to an actual demand for those cards to link them. You can get stung a little bit if you hold on for far too long. And they're going to be good. And the most important thing to think about with this, though, tonight as well, is the academy players. We know we're getting academy players. It's just when we get the academy players. And so a lot of people are going to do those academy cards because they were very popular last year. As long as they're decent cards, they'll do well. And they'll do a similar thing to this. Let's say, theoretically, we got a SAKA academy card from Arsenal. You'll see English players do very, very well from that. And maybe a couple of Arsenals. I don't know how many of Arsenal players are that meta, but a couple of Arsenal players might do alright. Aubameyang's UEL card, I believe it is, that could do quite well. You want to watch the academy players and just see what cards they are. And the best way to find out whether a card is good or in demand is go to Twitter. Go on Twitter and see what people are saying. If you see people like the PEDRI and other content creators tweeting and saying they like it, then that's usually a good sign. If you've seen other people you follow saying they like it, it's usually a good sign those cards have demand, and it usually makes it quite safe for you to buy into. But they have been by far the most effective way to trade is by link investing on those. Less so on SBCs. I mean, Rooney did quite well, but a lot of SBCs, the link investing's been a bit iffy. The link investing on certain Team of the Weeks as well, and like special cards into the what are they called, future stars cards, has been okay. It hasn't been bad at all. But like Quadrado, for example, sort of held his price there. If we look at his, is it a rule breaker card? Kulusevski came out, and again, sort of I'd say like anticipation of this card. And then look, his man of the match came out and he plummeted. And it's risky in my opinion. Buying into cards based upon what you think are going to be in Team 2, I'm not a massive fan of personally. I'm really not a massive fan of it. I think you're better playing all of this is probably to be looking at what comes out at that time and buying in the hype of that moment. That I think is better. The final thing we've got to be mindful of is these potential Icon SBCs. Now, we've lost loads of Icon SBCs on the game, and to me that says we're probably going to get some replacement for it. Now, the fact that FODDER has been given a price range increase across the board, it's been given a price range increase, says to me that we're getting something big, and I think we're going to get some decent Icons in this one. And so, with that in mind, Icons will take an initial hit. Let's say theoretically we get a mid-Vieira. I'm not saying we're going to, but let's say theoretically we did get a mid-Vieira. That mid-Vieira will see a lot of the Icons around him and in that sort of similar position drop in price. But it's always a temporary drop. What tends to happen after that is the market then comes back up again as people start buying into those cards that have dropped and using them in their teams. So if you've got those Icons, don't panic about it if they do drop. Just be patient, they will come back up again. And that's the most important thing to remember about a promo and about pack supply is the drop is temporary. The cards may not get back to where they were before, but it does rebound. What happens is, if you think about it, it's like payday basically. Everyone gets money, everyone goes out and spends their money during the month, whatever they get money, they spend it up again. So think about it like this. Loads of supply onto the market, the whole market crashes. It drops, and it drops by usually about 20-30% on some cards, some less, some more. It drops off. But the moment that supply ends, those cards are on the market, everyone then has spending power. They have coins in their bank to be able to go, right, let me build my team now. And bit by bit, each person will take some of those cards off the market again. And the more those cards that come off the market, the more they go up because the less of them there are. And obviously less supply equals more demand equals prices rise. And that's just all you've got to think about. It's basic economics. You can work it out from there. My advice to you though, if you don't get out by that point, don't join the panic. Because if you join the panic, you'll end up getting stung because cards will probably go back up in price again. So don't join the panic. But do try and get out of your cards now if you can, just to make sure you're safeguarding yourself to some degree. For example, this overnight I saw my Kantes did quite well on about between 110 and 112, and then this morning 6 or 7 hadn't gone, so I listed them and got out at break even, a tiny little loss on some of them, just to make sure I was out of it, so I'm fluid for tonight. But that really is what you should be looking at tonight. Now I plan on being live on Twitch, but my whole setup is being redesigned today, so I don't know if I'm definitely going to be live on Twitch. I hope to be, but I will let you know in the Discord, on Twitter, if I am going to be live. If I am live, hop into the Twitch stream, get involved. I help you guys as much as I can. But that's going to be the end of the video. If you are new around here, as always, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you never miss an upload. I've been Fuzzball40. Thank you for watching this video. But for now, I am out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.